and the litigation processes that followed it, the printing and the distribution of ballot papers. A logistical nightmare it was, but it was overcome. The 23 presidential elections. Justice Chikunga. Thank you. Fully take up the task of announcing and declaring the winner of the 2023 presidential elections. Justice Chikunga. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson, Ambassador. Subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, Chapter 213, that where two or more candidates for the president are validly nominated, a poll shall be taken in each constituency for the election of a president. And whereas on the 21st of June, 2023, 11 candidates were nominated, namely Busha Joseph, Makamba, Free Zim Congress, Chamisa Nelson, CCC, Chikuhora Trust Tapiwa, ZCPD, Kasia Muru Blessing, ZIPP, Maduku, Love More, NCA, Mnangagwa, Emerson Dambudzo, ZANU-PF, Mbaiwa Wilbert, Archibald, NPC, Muzorewa Gwinyai Henry, the UANC, Monzora Douglas, Togarase, MDC, Valerio Elizabeth, UZA, Wilson Harry Peter, DOP. These candidates were nominated for election to the office of president. And whereas a presidential election was conducted on 23 August 2023, and whereas the Chief Elections Officer has, in terms of Section 110, subsection 3, ascertained the result of the presidential poll, and whereas the following votes have been received by each candidate in respect of each province. Busha Joseph Makamba, Free Zim Congress, 18,816 votes, which constitutes 0.4% of the vote. Chamisa Nelson, CCC, 1,967,343, which constitutes 44% of the vote. Chikohora Trust Tapiwa, ZCPD, 10,230, which constitutes 0.2% of the vote. Kasiamuru Blessing, ZIPP, 13,060, constituting 0.3% of the vote. Maduku Lovemore, NCA, 5,323, constituting 0.1% of the vote. Mnangagwa Emerson Dambudzo, ZANU-PF, 2,350,711, constituting 52.6% of the vote. Mbaiwa Wilbert Archibald, NPC, 53,517, constituting 1.2% of the vote. Muzorewa Gwinyai Henry, the UANC, 7,053, constituting 0.2% of the vote. Monzora Douglas Togarase, MDCT, 28,883, constituting 0.6% of the vote. Valerio Elizabeth Isabel, UZA, 6,989, constituting 0.2% of the vote. Wilson Harry Peter, DOP, 6,743, constituting 0.2% of the vote. The total votes cast were 4,561,221. Total valid votes cast were 4,468,668. Total votes rejected, 92,553. Our total voter population was 6,623,511. The voter turnout was 68.9%. Now, therefore, I, Priscilla Makanyara Chigumba, the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, in terms of Section 110, subsection 3, do hereby declare that Mnangagwa Emerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF Party has received 2,350,711 votes out of 4,468,730 valid votes cast, which are more than half the number of valid votes cast in the presidential election. Therefore, Mnangagwa Emerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF Party is declared duly elected President of the Republic of Zimbabwe with effect 26 August 2023.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our program. Thank you.
There you have it, there you have it, there you have it, there you have it. That is the program that is there. Nelson Chamisa this, and this is the result that we are seeing on our screens. 2 million votes for Idi Mnangagwa, 1.9 million votes for Nelson Chamisa, which gives him 44%. I still have to get those numbers correctly, but that is the result that we all have been waiting for. So this is it is what it is, people. I know all of you have been waiting, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you make of this result? Some of you are saying, what a joke. Some of you are saying, yeah, nonsense. Another 5 years of suffering. That's what others are saying. What do you make of this election? So, right, you're welcome to give us your thoughts. The number is, we're still using the same number to contact if you want to talk to us. I'm seeing someone is trying to call me. Esther, are you trying to call me? Right. That is the result that we have, people. So we await for the inauguration, or if there's going to be any challenge from the Triple C. That is something that we are going to see maybe in the next coming days. But in the meantime, this is the result that has been declared: 44% for Triple C and 52% for Idi Mnangagwa. What does this mean? What does this mean? We need to talk about that. And you are welcome to be part of that show. Let us talk. Monofungei, what do you make of this result? And what is your thoughts? Do you think there's been rigging? And do you think that SADC is going to do something about this? I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me put the number that we've been calling on, that you can call in and give us your thoughts, or you want to be part of the show. You can actually follow the link that I'm going to paste now on the comment section so that you can be part of the show. Just want to make this broadcast brief one, and we live. Ndo zviripo hama dzangu, ndo zviripo 5 years Mnangagwa, 5 years of Triple C on the opposition benches. Whether that is going to be accepted by SADC, we need to find out that. But in the meantime, if you want to be part of the show, you want to talk about this, express your feelings and express what you feel, please get in touch with us on that number, or you can follow the link that I've pasted, and then we can get this subject going. What does this mean for the Zimbabweans? Does this mean that more suffering for us? Does this mean that we are going to see something happening? Some of the people were saying, toenda kuhondo. Some of the people were saying that. Some I'm seeing here, just tell us where you're watching from. Sol Mpure saying that SADC didn't endorse this election. Right, I'm seeing someone here saying Zvakaendwa. All right, why did people expect anything different? That's my brother on the WhatsApp. And let me read your WhatsApp messages here. Right, watching from UK. I'm watching from UK in a place called Telford. I would like ED to continue with his project and finish his second term. Then we can properly judge if he was a good president. I personally think that just one term is fair for a country he inherited in shambles. 2 terms bore. Yeah. Let me see who is here. Georges. Georges, how are you? Hello, Georges.
I'm fine, how are you?
Good, good. You're welcome to the show. Tell us what you think about the results.
Sadly, I didn't vote, man. You know, I'm in Tunisia. To watch
Okay,
this from to watch this from a distance.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, look, frankly speaking, we didn't see any election here. You know, that's the basis of all this. We're
Mm,
hoping we were going to get an election, but with all that we saw,
mm,
we can't really call this an election. It
mm,
is what it is because of everything that happened. So I'm not really surprised with the result.
mm.
Right from the beginning, I could tell that we're heading in this direction. It's a
All
good
right.
fight from the yellow color. It's a good fight
Mm,
from the opposition, I guess. But
mm,
look, I think we were heading in this direction.
mm. Don't you think that there was, I mean, the people from opposition would tell you that we had already won this election, but it was rigged somewhere, somehow. Zek was cooking some numbers. What do you have to say about that?
Uh, it's difficult to to say. For me, I won't look at the results. For me, I look at the process.
Mm,
Um, the process, I think, is it speaks louder than the result itself. You know,
all
as
right.
much as when people are in an election, when people are in a race,
Yeah.
they're emotional. You know, you have your will, you have your desires. When I watched one of your shows earlier on, I don't have any access to any information at all. But
Mm,
when I heard one of your colleagues speak about was it 70%?
yeah.
I don't know where that information comes from. But when you said you've only got where the opposition only had 70% of I think the V11.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Pardon. Yeah,
that's
pardon
not
was saying,
sufficient.
yeah,
You've got a 30% gap margin there, so that
mm,
30% is anything that was happening during the elections.
yeah,
So the process is louder than the result. I mean, if people went to polling stations at 7 a.m. and got there and they couldn't vote, how many people left? When I
yeah,
looked at, because we're not given any figures right now when the results were being announced. But
mm,
considering that polling stations were meant to open at 7 and only opened 12, I mean, was it 12 hours later?
yeah,
Some polling stations were voting at night.
mm,
No, it's just too much of a big story. Honestly speaking, it's just far from a credible election. It's just far from really that we can base anything on it. For me, it's just a sham and a waste. Really, it's a shame because
all
how
right,
many people left the polling stations without voting? If you
all
look
right,
at the figures from the urban vote right now, you
mm,
can tell that more maybe 30 to 35%, just my
mm,
take, my own perception,
mm,
didn't cast their votes, but they went to the polling stations because
yeah,
some people here went the following day after the declaration was made. But when they
yeah,
got there, they were told, no, they can't vote. The polling station is closed because it opened at 7 when they'd gone back home. So how
yeah,
many people went without
mm,
voting, especially in the urban areas? And
yeah,
this is where the opposition had a stronghold. So just from simple pertinent issues like that,
okay,
what other result would we have expected? Even if the opposition was desiring a win, but where were they going to get the win from?
yeah. So, do you think that the opposition did enough to avoid this, or you just saying we blame the referee in this regard?
Well, I, I don't really know how much they did in terms of their strategy and framework towards the elections, of course. But the referee has a lot to answer in
Mm,
terms of the way they handled this election,
yeah,
especially just on the basis of the poll opening and closing. That's huge.
yeah,
How many disenfranchised voters? How many people didn't cast their vote? And then all the things that we're seeing around the election, which was just so much. So for starters, yes, I would push a lot of blame on the referee, but I'll also come to the issue of the opposition themselves. If you talk of 70% V11, that's 30%. 30% is a huge margin strategically in
to play
trying
around.
to play around with. You see, it's 30% is just too much. So one, there are polling agencies. I heard there were polling agencies that were not part of the opposition that were said to have been the opposition. So that alone in its own obviously gave one party an advantage in terms of execution. So yeah, it's sad, but that's the reality. There's a lot that has happened during this election that makes it a sham. It puts it aside. We don't really need a rocket scientist to tell us that it's simple, it's basic, it's straightforward. Those that have an eye can just see it plainly, unfortunately.
All right. There is a comment here that I put on the screen from Mze RK saying Zimbabwean youth betrayed this election. Imagine 1,170,000 registered voters in Harare. Only under 700,000 voted in Harare. Therefore, about 500,000 voters in Harare didn't vote. What do you make of that? That's a significant, quite number, 500,000 who registered to vote and they decided not to vote. What do you make of that?
Yeah, the key question in these people who decided not to vote, did they decide not to vote, or they were disenfranchised? They were blocked. I don't know what the right political term would be. I'm not a political scientist. I'm not experienced in that field.
Yeah.
But 500,000, if we spread that number towards or to stations across the country, I mean, okay, across Harare, because we're talking about Harare here. How many people went to the stations because the stations had no ballot paper or the stations were not open in time, went back and did not return?
Yeah.
So, uh, how many people would have been patient to wait in that queue for 12 hours? To be honest with you, even if people really wanted it so much, a few people can handle that pressure. Most people would have just gone there. It's not open. Okay, imagine. Okay, there was an example. I saw something on Tendai BT. Tendai BT went to some polling station that he believed he was meant to cast his vote at, and he did not find his name there because he's capacitated. Maybe he has a vehicle. He managed to drive himself to the next polling station. Most of Zimbabwean voters don't have that capacity. If you go to one polling station, then you're told, okay, let's take this example that you went to a polling station at 7, you waited by the queue up to 1, and then they opened at 1. You are in another long queue. Then after 2 hours to get in, you're told your name is not there. You've got to go to another station. You get to that station and you're told, no, sorry, we have not started the voting process here. Maybe it'll start tomorrow morning. Do you think that person will really go back? And how many cases were like that? Nobody knows because we've got no one taking those records down. But that is actually the reality. So who caused that? You see, who is answerable to that? That's the question we're asking ourselves. And this is where we have a huge, huge issue. It's very big. It's an election that can be stolen from citizens because this is the right for people to make their voices heard. It is their right to exercise their vote. And such simplicity is enormous.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that input, my brother from Tunisia, for that amazing analysis and Do you think that, I mean, maybe if we can, I can ask you, what do you think is the way forward here? Because we're gonna go to another election, and the same thing is gonna happen. What is the way forward from here? Because ZANU-PF will keep on saying that you are just so losers, and they keep on repeating the same charade. What is your thoughts on that? What can be done? Since now there is a report that is coming from SADC, and it is saying that people need to, I mean, there needs to be some improvement. What do you think should happen now, going forward, in hindsight?
Yeah, in hindsight, it's preparedness.
Yeah.
Preparedness. How prepared
Mm,
are we as a people? How prepared are we as an opposition to face
mm,
these elections? What are
mm,
the issues on the ground? What is our
mm,
groundwork in terms of the real strategy
yeah.
in really conquering what we know? Because these are things that we know. We might not know the shari or the shakadism or the
Mm,
church or whatever may be done by those that hold the powers. But all I'm saying is that we know what is needed on the ground. That is where we
mm,
should invest your time.
mm,
If you're going to start preparing now, then
yeah.
start preparing now. Grassroots level structures, a
Mm,
proper appeal in your program,
yeah.
and a proper strategy.
Mm,
You can't work with volunteers. Yes, I'm not saying people should not volunteer, but you can't work with people you have not vetted in terms of polling station agents,
yeah.
where you just assume that George from Tunisia is going to come and be our polling agent. I will come and say I want to be a polling agent, but am I really your polling agent?
Mm,
What,
mm, mm,
what facts do you have about me? It's a huge process. If you're talking of more than 12,000 stations to guide,
yeah.
how are you going to develop those people? So these are things that you start working on now.
Yeah.
If you really want to conquer strategically in an election, there are basics, you know, but
Yeah.
grassroots structures are very important, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not going to win an election or win the hearts of people or convince people from
Yeah.
just a section part of the country. You
All
really
right.
need to get down and work from there and make sure that you've got proper structures and people in proper positions that you vetted and verified who actually give you proper information.
Yeah. But maybe the other question would be, the opposition leader was saying that we have a grand plan, and the grand plan, we are not going to reveal it to our enemy. Do you think there was a grand plan that was there, and did you see it coming to play, as you know, the supporters? Because anytime when people like the likes of Wopo Shingono, or the likes of even Professor Jonathan Moy would critique Chamisa, and saying that the party doesn't have structures, um, they will be met with a lot of insults, and people will be saying, "We have a grand plan. Our leader has got a plan." Do you think there was a plan, and do you think this plan was executed, and somewhere somehow failed? Do you think there was a plan, or there was no plan at all? It was just hiding behind, saying that we have a secret weapon.
It's tough to see whether the plan was a grand plan. Okay,
Mm,
the plan was there, I guess. It's nothing that we know of since we are
mm,
not part of that plan or privy to the
mm,
details of the plan, as opposition did mention that it's something that they have, within their structures.
mm,
But yeah, we did see some efforts, whether those were efforts from the opposition or they were just efforts from citizens. I can't tell. But
Yeah.
the question is, was it efficient? Was it substantive? Was it a plan that could really conquer? Was it tested?
Mm.
Was it scientific enough to actually bear? You know, to 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 bring down the bomb, so to speak, to destroy anything that the enemy would do. That's
Yeah.
the question that we have. So we are
Yeah.
not seeing it work, as you can see. Once again, we had a sham election. Once again, we have results that don't really seem to reflect what's on the ground. But that's what it's about. So
Mm.
we can't really tell whether the opposition had a solid plan on ground. And those are
Mm.
the things that they should work on. So grand talking or just saying we have a plan and which cannot be executed. Let me take, for example,
Mm.
the issues of the V11s. That's where we spoke
Okay.
about the same.
Kof, I see you there. I just hold on. Kof, I see you there. I'm gonna take your call now. Just hang in there. I just want to finish
Okay.
with George's. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So
You
just
can finish up your point. Yeah.
okay.
You
Yeah.
were saying.
So just to talk on that.
Mm.
So I want to come back to the grand plan and the talk was the issue around the evidence. Which
Mm.
was a masterpiece on defending the vote, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
If I come to what I've heard you speak about in terms of the 70-30 we're talking about,
Yeah.
it really shows that the plan was not executed to perfection. Let's
Mm.
come to these people who were meant to be um, collecting results, or entering data, etc., etc.
Mm.
Um, okay, easily arrested, or easily taken in. That to me is an issue already.
Yeah.
How can you your, how can you have a strategy
Mm.
that's so clear?
Mm.
We're living in the world of technology now. Why didn't you put that outside? Why
Mm.
didn't you, put these things outside the reach if
Mm.
you knew that these people were going to come after you?
Mm.
So the planning becomes poor in that respect. Thank you.
Mm. All right. Yeah. 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 I also I mean there are some things that the opposition has been found wanting in a number of things, like the fact that I was checking Freeman Charisi Hendo. He was actually asking people, I mean, to the agents to keep on uploading the V11s. And my question would be, if you have a coordinated team, isn't it the communication is supposed to be done internally? It's not supposed to be public. So that then raised the eyebrows to say, did you have a solid team that you could, give instructions to say, okay, team, it's time for you by such a time, you should have sent us your V11s from all across the country. So that being said, is the question whether, if we are to be very very frank, is it true that there was rigging? Is it true that you had, or your a solid team, you had all the team members that were coordinated, that were being coordinated from one command center? If you then had some people then writing on social media that please upload the V11, upload the V11s, did they have the V11s at all?
You see, for me, to be honest with you, the Freeman issue,
Mm,
I follow these guys
mm,
attentively across the board. I went into spaces. I was there for hours. I listened to
mm,
debates. I listened to doctors. I listened to professors, space leaders.
mm,
To me, when I looked at the Freeman project, I don't even know who he is, but I
mm.
followed it closely.
Yeah.
Once you say to me, people upload V11s, that
Yeah.
becomes laughable. I
Mm,
want to be honest. That's
mm,
laughable. That's no
mm,
longer internal. There's no security there. If
mm,
anyone is going to, I ask myself, okay, if people are going to upload V11, who
mm,
is uploading the V11?
mm,
Does he know who is uploading the V11? Is it a genuine agent? What
mm,
information is he getting? So that to me already was poor strategy. You know,
mm,
you can't just say everybody upload V11s. And when I
mm,
checked it, most of these V11s I was seeing on social media, if you really looked at it closely, most of those didn't even have stamps. Some didn't
mm,
even have signatures. You know, it was all laughable. You know, you could tell that this is a failed project.
mm,
It's just not working. So from
mm.
that very onset, you could tell, no, this project is heading nowhere. And Freeman even stopped uploading, and he was questioned by one member from Zanu PF to say that person actually told him face blank that you don't seem to know what you're doing. You know, he tried to
Mm.
defend himself, but I could see that no, this is really poor in organization, poor in structure, poor in organization.
Okay. All right. Maybe in wrapping up, my brother, going forward, what are the things that can be learned from this plebiscite in terms of if somebody is in the opposition, what lessons can they take, and what can be the citizens' role in making sure that those lessons are not going to, I mean, if we are to look in retrospect, you can see that this project of the opposition started in 2000, and we are now 23 years later, and still um, there is no, we have not seen this project becoming to fruition. It's only hope and hope and hope. um, for the younger generation that is coming in, what is it that they can look out for to say, okay, there is a plan that we are going to execute and it's going to succeed? What is it that the opposition or people that are wanting to come into the opposition should say, okay, look, this is what happened in the past and we want to avoid it, and we want to make sure that for real we can conquer this, can become a ruling party, not the opposition. What do you probably suggest the people should do in this regard?
Um, for starters, we must be sound in our structures. You know,
Mm,
that's where it should start.
mm,
Let's formulate sound structures
mm,
from grassroots levels.
mm,
Let's formulate strategies that are realistic and smart. That's
mm.
one thing for sure.
Mm.
Let me talk about just the voters.
Yeah.
I see here you posted that someone posted to say the young generation let us down.
Mm. Mm.
To be honest with you, when I'm in
Okay.
Zimbabwe and I go around,
Okay. Okay. Just
is
hold
there
on.
someone else coming in? Okay.
Just just hold on. I want to bring in. Hello, caller. How are you? Hello. Can you? I'm good. Can you reduce the volume from the other device so that we can hear you? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna come to you, but let me allow Georges to finish his point that he was about to make, and then I'm gonna come to you. Okay. All right. Okay. No, no, just hold on. Just hang in here. I want to give you a chance. Just after he finishes that.
I think let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance because he's calling so that at least he can participate. All right, I'll
All right.
come in
Okay.
now.
All right. Okay. Okay. Where are you calling us from, brother? Brother, you calling us from where? Hello, brother. Okay. Please, the floor is yours. Can you you can shoot.
Oh, I just want to say I wanted to be part of the change. Unfortunately, I could not be part. I was hoping today I was going to congratulate the people that helped out in instilling change home in my absence.
Yeah.
I know Hopewell traveled to vote and a few other privileged people. You mentioned that Triple C has been, like the opposition now, obviously, after a lot of things have happened, there's also Triple C and everything like that.
Yeah.
We can point fingers at each other and come up with strategies, but ZANU-PF on its own is the worst dictatorship you can ever think of. It's in the levels of worse than North Korea or Russia. It's like when you try to think about it, think about that guy named Prigozhin.
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe he's dead if it's true, if the claims are true.
Yeah. But why?
How do you fight against such a regime, like a Russian regime? That Prigozhin is dead. He had started a mutiny, right?
Okay. I hear you there, but my question is, as much as you are making that that claim that the ZANU-PF is like that, which I know ZANU-PF is going to say we are actually a democratic country. We allow opposition leaders to participate in the plebiscite. We don't tramp on those structures. But the question is, the way some people who spoke about these shortcomings that are in the opposition running up to this election. We talk about the issue of structures. We talk about the issue of what is the plan? What is the plan that we are going to unveil to the voters? What are people supposed to be doing? What are the how are you going to penetrate the rural voter? And there was always this. The issue of the plan was always shrouded in mystery. It was not up to now. I can't even tell when was the plan unveiled. So the question is, it is good. It is convenient for you and I to just blame ZANU-PF and say ZANU-PF is like this, ZANU-PF is like that, and blame ZEC and everything. But don't you think that on the part of opposition, there was a lack of proper planning or following the steps that would guarantee a victory in this election? Don't you think that there was some things that they overlooked, or some things that they shot down people who brought ideas to say, let us follow this path, and they simply said, we have a plan, and that plan was nowhere to be found?
I hear you, my brother. Answer me this one.
Yeah.
From 2000 up to 2023, are you telling me that Tsvangirai did not have a plan?
No, I understand Tsvangirai had a plan.
Generally, I'm just saying, but he lost all those elections, and even at one time, there was a disputed election. There was a rerun that ZANU went and did on its own. So are you telling me they did not have plans? It's been 23 good years, from pretty much to the year 2000.
No. I hear you on the issue of Tsvangirai's plan. Tsvangirai had a plan. We saw it in 2008. It guaranteed him victory, which was witnessed by everyone, and even Mugabe considered that defeat. But the question that I'm asking is, we are talking about this election and the previous election. We are seeing
try to answer.
Yeah, we are seeing a sort of like a pattern of saying, okay, we have a plan, but the plan is then not unveiled to the end user who's supposed to execute that plan. You remember when there was that court, people went to court. They said we have all the V11s, but if we want to look in it, I mean, with all honesty, did MDC Alliance, did they have all the V11s? Were they available? That's the question. So that's the question that we are asked. We're still in the same, we're asking the same question. Did Triple C had a plan to have all the V11s in place? The election finished on the 24th. Even on the 23rd, the other, I mean, parts of the country was now bringing in their V11s. Did they have all that plan to bring all the V11s? Did they had a center that could hold to make sure that all the V11s are in place and they are there for everyone to see, like what we saw in 2008? So that's the question that I'm asking. That I'm saying, Changira had a plan, but did Triple C execute a plan that is executable, if I can use that word?
I don't think the plan was satisfactory on that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I hear you. So yeah. So what do you think? As we are now, what do you think should be the way forward? Looking at what has happened in the past, because there is a bit of similarity of 2018 and 2023. What is the way forward now? Even if we are dealing with ZANU-PF, that you have said that ZANU-PF is this and that and that and that, it is more brutal than Putin, more brutal than all these regimes that you have spoken about, North Korea. What is your way forward? What do you think should be because we must have a plan of where should we go as a nation, not just maybe to Nelson Chamisa, but as a nation, what do we do in order to pass this hurdle?
My brother, I only think ZANU-PF, it's only God that is going to say enough is enough. Then it will be a miracle, because there is the CIOs. They can work underhand. That's why it's a bit premature for MDC, even if their plan is good or not at all. I mean, for Triple C, whether it's good or bad, for them to be running their mouth about their plans, because there's always underhand things that are happening, and it's too infiltrated the entire system. So it's just a bit of a nightmare. We can point fingers, but for any opposition to stand against ZANU, even ZEC alone, we know, we have seen it's captured. Think about it. SADC condemned that the elections are not free and fair. But ZANU, before even ZEC was already attacking them. So it's, as much as we can talk about plans, but personally, I think it's God. They will continue. And don't you think there's going to be infighting amongst Triple C? Is it going to make it stronger? Because people, they're going to say, Chamisa this, he picks who he wants, and that. All those issues are going to come back. 5 years down the line, there's going to be Triple C will probably be more divided than it is right now. So then who can really stand against ZANU-PF? And they'll keep on going strong. My parents voted for ZANU-PF. They've always been doing that.
No. Yeah.
But they know my struggles. Think about it. They know my struggles, and they know the reason why. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. My brother, thank you so much for coming to the show and giving us your side of the story, and I appreciate your contribution.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, I appreciate. My brother Georges, we also have another caller. Let me just give him a chance, then I'll come back.
Yeah, let's take the callers. That'll be great. I'm still here. I'm with you all the way.
All right, okay. There is another caller here. All right. Caller, hello.
Hello.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. There are the results. Idi Mnangagwa has won. Are you there to congratulate? Are you there to commiserate with Nelson Chamisa?
No. Actually, I just want to say, I'm not in support of any ZANU-PF or CCC.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, I think like you're saying, it's a pattern. There's similarity between these past two voting citizens, and I think Chamisa needs to start accepting. I think that's the first step. Yeah. Once he starts accepting and actually starts talking to Mnangagwa, and maybe, that third vice presidency that has been needing a person, maybe they can just say, no, young man, we'll put you there.
And the question would be, is he doing it for the sake of his political career, trying to save his political career, or is doing it for the sake of the peace among Zimbabweans? What would be the objective?
When we talk of peace among Zimbabweans, I think Zimbabweans just talk and they never really act. So there's always peace in Zimbabwe, in my point of view. But for Chamisa, he's just like E.D. Mugabe and Mugabe's, and he just he enjoys this, this hype. Yeah, he enjoys when people love him, and that's how Mugabe was.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, but maybe, sorry for coming through. What makes you make that assertion that he is just like Mugabe?
Because he enjoys popularity.
Don't you think that he has got a genuine desire to see Zimbabwe prosper? He makes good promises that he wants the time when there was government of national unity, they made some strides. What do you make about that?
Yeah, but when they were working together, then the Zimbabwe had good potential to actually thrive. And this is why I say he should actually start talking to Mnangagwa and accepting that, no, this is what happens when, because this thing whereby he comes out or his people come out and they start telling us before even results have been announced that he has already won and we should expect change. I think now it's we are tired of this and we need a way forward.
All right. Yeah. I hear you. You are calling us from where? Which part of Zimbabwe?
I'm in Harare.
All right. Okay. My brother, thank you so much for your contribution and much appreciated. Let me take another caller and thank you for coming to the show.
Okay, thank you for taking my call.
All right, it's a pleasure. I have got Juju on the line. Juju, how are you doing? All right, let me go back to Georges. Georges, you heard from the other two gentlemen. What is your take about what is happening?
Yes,
what
their
thoughts?
A way forward is what we.
Okay, you can go ahead. You can go ahead. Mani, I see you. Mr. Mani, I see you, and Juju, I'm gonna come to you. Let me just finish with George's. He wants to make his point.
Hello, I think you went off. Is it me who went off, or was it you?
Yeah. You were talking, and then you just went off. All right. Let me see. Okay, Juju, you can go ahead. You can give your contribution. Juju? Juju, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, Juju, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. What is your contribution? What
Yes,
good news for you?
I'm just following up. Basically, from what I'm seeing, I'm calling from South Africa.
Yeah.
If you can look at our situation back home,
Yeah.
it needs more than just fasting and praying. There's an element which we need, which is lacking. If you check in the Triple C, we can talk of structures one, but if you can look at that lineup just below Chamisa, you can start to see that you just go to my head, which there's a lot of gaps, and fighting against guys who came from the bush. Then we come with an approach of the Bible and which is not practical at all, which is a concept which you look at it, you can see that no, this thing doesn't work. Otherwise, that's why you could see that people were opting for Xavier Kasukwere. They could see that it can match a 9-9 with the current regime. Otherwise, it's a pity that we have disappointed people waiting for 2020 for 23 years. Nothing's coming. We need something better than this.
Yeah. So in your own view, do you think that, okay, we can talk of Nelson Chamisa, but do you think that we as the citizens, some of us in South Africa, some have left, do you think we did enough in order to support the cause of making sure that we vote in numbers, and like what they did in Zambia? Do you think that as much as we can, say they did not plan well, do you think that as citizens we did enough to encourage one another, or we were just in that disenfranchised zone to say vachangobirira and things are going to remain as they are? Do you think we did enough in order to make sure that something good comes out of this election?
No, we can do enough. If we check Zimbabwe as a whole, our nation as a whole, we are the most brainwashed nation in the region. One. Our over believing in the Bible. Yes, of course, I'm a Christian. I went through mission schools, but if you can check the way we think, the way we did on this election, it means we concentrated with urban, which is traditionally, but if you check what was happening, really, there was nothing urban, nothing rural. We're supposed to have enough people to man the rural areas, because we knew that these people, if they're going to timber around, they're not timber with anything in Kwazana, with anything in Warren Park, in Mount Pleasant, but they were going to timber with, if you check Uzumba, how can you have 29,000 people voting in Uzumba? If you check demographic wise, everyone is moving. All adults after the age of 16, you move away from rural areas. So we are saying, if you check the demographics, there are now less people in rural areas than the urban. But if you check now, there was no, that study was supposed to have been done. As citizens, we're supposed to come on board, give that information, support, then find a way of supporting that. But if you can check now, our demographics is they are presenting it as if in rural areas there are more people than urban, which is not true.
Yeah.
So if you can check now, when they discovered that there was no one with the V11, so they had to timber around with those ones, adding ones where you see there were so many V11s where you saw it was a 5,000, then they put a one on front to make it 15. But you can't dispute it because you don't have anything to dispute with. Yes.
Yeah. Somebody saying that please don't blame Chamisa, you must blame the junta. In your last parting words, my brother,
basically, yes, of course. what I discover, you know, if we check in leadership, we've got what we call charismatic leaders. They've got their own advantage, then they've got also their own disadvantage. But what I discover, what we need to do now when we are rebuilding to the next elections, I think we need proper structures to support. If you can check what the junta has just started is to say when you are rigging, you don't rig in Matebelent, you don't rig in Kwadzana. You just go and rig in those rural areas, Gokwe, Mashonaland West, those rural areas. So we need to have that. Then we incorporate. What I'm not sure is the appetite to listen, whether it's good there. Yeah, so sometimes you might discover that you come, there's those things that there's no appetite to listen. Then you start to see things will not move, and it's embarrassing. It's so painful.
Yeah, it's very, very painful.
It's
Anyway,
very
my brother,
painful.
thank you so much. Georges, I want you to give your last contribution, and then I want to give to other two that have come, Mr. Mani and Bracha. They've been waiting for quite some time, and I'm also seeing other contributors that are coming to the show. But what is your thoughts on what these other contributors have given us?
Yes. Okay. What wins an election? What wins an election is a vote. If the voting in Zimbabwe was not what wins the election, then ZANU-PF would not invest so much money in trying to win the elections. When it comes to elections, ZANU-PF invests a lot of money in whichever direction, whether you want to call it propaganda, whether you want to call it vote buying, or whatever you want to call it. But the fact that ZANU-PF understands what an election is, and they understand how to win elections in whichever way you want to call it. So this is where we come in to say, as we were discussing earlier, to say that going forward, what is your strategy in making sure that you have got that vote in enough number that it sells you through? I want to talk about structures and grassroots levels. I'm someone who also spends a lot of time at grassroots. I talk a lot to the youth. I do a lot of things like that. Let me tell you, even in this election, that we've just gone by, I would talk to 20, 25 years going down. I'm not too sure of the demographics and so forth. I'll talk to people, eligible voters on the ground. My finding was that out of every 8, this is not scientific, this is not research, but just a perception. But giving just a rough number, in every 8 people who would vote or who are in disgruntlement with current affairs in terms of our economy and things like that in the country, of every 8 of those youth, you'll find that maybe 1, if 0, are registered to vote. Where is the opposition in that regard? That is where my contribution is. Where is the opposition in that regard? What structures do you have to make sure that every citizen understands the importance of voting? You can't rely on ZEC to go out there and teach people. ZEC is going to come with a 24-day program or a 14-day program. It's not efficient. If you're going to start now, that's what you need to work on. Develop that. If you know you don't have the financial muscle, you don't have the capacity, draw a strategy or a plan to make sure that people understand what it is to win an election. Many of these young boys are not even registered to vote. They are sitting on corners, they are unemployed, they cry about the government, they are smoking, they are drinking. But who has convinced them enough to understand the importance of going to cast a vote? Right? If we had the same people that you are talking about, to say that there are now more people in the urban areas than in the rural areas. Yes, but how many of those people in the urban areas are going to vote? Let me tell you something. In the rural areas, so many of those people that you are saying are a stronghold to the ruling party, they are registered to vote. And your colleagues in the urban areas are not registered to vote. So how are you going to turn an election when the people who are meant to carry your day are not even registered to vote? Structure, strategy. If you don't do that groundwork, you're always going to sing the same song and never ever have. It doesn't help to go to a rally and say, how many of you are going to vote for me? And people raise their hands up and wave a thumb and a finger on top, and 80% of those people are not even registered. You're not doing anything.
Thank you so much, my brother, for that contribution. I really appreciate, and bring an important point of saying that people are not registered to vote. I remember, like in my interactions in Harare, meeting people, are you registered to vote? Like 90% of the time of the people that I meet, people, they will tell me I'm not registered to vote, that are in the urban areas, but they want things to change. I don't know, they want some miracle to happen, but they are not registered to vote. Anyway, thank you so much for bringing that. Let me bring in Mr. Mani and Braga. Mr. Mani, I think you can start.
Hello, Joshua, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. So I think we've all been seeing what has been taking place in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And including that report that was given by the SADC leader, which was later on refuted by ZANU-PF.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, there are so many signs that Triple C did very well in this election. Otherwise, why would you have things like FAS intimidating people, the election day getting extended, and some voting happening overnight?
Yeah.
I think ZANU-PF was watching this, and they were. It's unfortunate that they control ZEC. They were seeing that things were not going in their direction, and then they can just extend the voting window, and stuff like that. So, so what I think is, it's not about. I don't think it's about that. It's not that people didn't vote, the CCC members didn't vote, or Chamisa didn't do anything. I don't think he did anything wrong. I just think that we have a very bad culture in Zimbabwe, or maybe that the ruling party controls ZEC, controls all the security divisions in the country. So I think that's what happened. So I'm also surprised that a lot of media guys, I was listening to your friend, Mr. Gambagwe, just now, and the tone has already changed. Everyone is starting to accept that ZANU-PF won, that sort of a thing. I mean, this is not normal. I think I think as Zimbabweans, we need to reject this forced, president on us, because otherwise, having cited all those issues, raised by SADC and other people, this election could easily get nullified and start afresh and get things in order so that we can have a free and fair election. But I don't want to be long here. I just think that Chamisa didn't do anything wrong. Of course, there are some things that we can do, but
Okay.
I think the problem is that Chamisa cannot have, or CCC cannot have the resources, as much resources as ZANU-PF has, and doesn't control the security agents. So, did you also see when Triple C was giving a media briefing and some guys came and grabbed their papers forcibly? Did you see that? Or you didn't watch it?
Can you come again? You say which part?
No, so this afternoon, not too long ago, there was a media.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that part. I saw that part. Where
Yes,
Promise
yes,
Mkwanas was yeah.
yes.
Before we go there, my question is, you are saying that we should not, because there are people who suggested the issue of structures, that we need to have structures because structures, they help in mobilizing people. I'm talking about the things that I see on the ground, whereby you find that, as the previous speaker has said, that the majority of the people that are eligible to vote, that are ripe voters, they are not even interested in voting. Why? Because there is no party that is coming to them to offer them that. Look, they are not in any structure, they are not in any cell group, they are not in any form of any party. So you look at the parties that are in the rural areas. If you go to ZANU-PF in the rural areas, they have structures that are set. They know who is their chairman, they know who is their cell leader, they know who is this, who is that, everything. I mean, it's well structured, it's well-oiled machine. But this is their stronghold. But the question now is, if you have then individuals that are in the urban areas and they are not structured to have structures whereby they know who their cell leader is, they know who their branch leader is, and all of that, how do you expect to win against a party that is hell-bent to make sure that they beat you for you to vote them, or they invest so much money in order to have their members vote for them, and you have a party that is not willing to even have a conversation about putting these structures on to make sure that they harness this potential voter to become their voter in the coming election? They just say, people love us, people, they believe in us, they want us to be in power. Are you not seeing a bit of negligence, or are you not seeing a bit of like trying to put the blame? Yes, there is the impartiality that we are seeing with ZBC and other players. But are you not seeing a lack in order to say these things we can't control, but the things that we can control, let us make sure that we have all the apparatus in place?
Yes, of course, there's room for improvement there. It's really a point that the opposition need to take note of and improve going forward.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very, very valid point. But at the same time, what I'm also saying is there's something also needs to be done as far as how ZANU-PF controls and use the government resources during the elections. It's not a free and fair election when some people are, intimidated, or I heard instances of police. The police was forced to vote before the day, and they have a number. They know they cannot vote freely or for whoever they want. So I think so. My point really is, of course, this has happened. I think we should not conform. We should not agree with this. I would be very, very upset if I see Triple C going into a GNU with ZANU-PF. I think these parties, they need to stay, in their own quarters. If ZANU-PF won, then they have to run the show, and maybe deliver whatever promises or whatever they they were promising to do, but we don't want to see Triple C giving them a lifeline, because I don't know if ZANU-PF has any idea of what to do with the economy and many other problems that our country is facing. So, and my last point, what I wanted to say is, Jetro, even if Chamisa got 2 million extra votes, ZANU-PF was still going to find a way, to rig that. So, from the beginning, as long as ZANU-PF is behaving like this and behaving, the ZANU-PF thinks they are they are the whole Zimbabwe or whatever. I don't know what they think, but I don't see how, no matter if we had the structures, if we had whatever we would have, under this current system and this culture, I don't see how ZANU-PF was going to, to be defeated, to accept a defeat. They would find some other way of rigging this election.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother, for your point. Very, very, very much. I appreciate it. Let me give a chance to Braga. He has been waiting for quite some time. I really appreciate your input. Hopefully, people are listening and they're going to watch this broadcast and they're going to find some points to note for 2028. Braga, your chance. Can you come in?
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. So basically all the things that the last speaker had mentioned are the things that I wanted to say. That includes the ground not being fair. Like the ground is not equal. There is no way that CC was going to win when the ZANU-PF people already declared that the only way that you can win is to use the gun. So with that being said, it means that this election was not free and fair. So whatever that they are going to do, even if there was going to have structures or everything was going to be perfect for the opposition, they was not going to win. They were not going to win. So I don't think at this point in time it is only about the opposition, but it is up to us citizens to do something about this whole thing, because since 2000 and I don't know, back then, nothing have changed and nothing is going to change, because that's what ZANU-PF said, that nothing is going to change this. This country is not going to go with pen and paper. So it is up to us citizens to do something. I don't know what it is, but they said they need the gun. They need us to handle the gun, to show them that we can do it. I'm not promoting violence or anything like that, but that is the only way we can be free, according to them. And no CC or opposition party is going to come and take them off the presidency or the ruling party.
Thank you so much, my brother. Sorry for cutting you now, because we are about to wrap the program. I think we are left with about 10, 15 minutes or so that we can, so that if somebody is going to watch, they are going to at least get something out of this engagement. But I want to welcome Wash. Is it not Washi? Welcome T. T, how are you? And then I'll come to you, Bongi. I see you. Can you reduce the volume of your gadget that is close to you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. How are you, Sige?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Your comments, please.
Yes, I just wanted to touch on
Okay, T, I lost you there. Okay, we've lost T there.
Sorry, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
You're back. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So I think
Okay,
we
can you
shouldn't
reduce
go. Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
reduce the volume of your gadget? There's some echo that I'm hearing.
yeah. That's my TV. It's muted now. Yeah,
All
I
right,
just
okay,
want
Nasa.
to say that we shouldn't go into a blame culture. As Zimbabwean people, and because a result has been announced, we quickly jump in and want to blame Chamisa or point fingers where they've gone wrong. I think obviously there's always improvements in anything that we do.
Yeah.
I think we are ignoring what the ruling party has been doing, ever since they came into power. They delayed the votes. How can you show up on an election and the ballot paper is not ready? But everything is right in front of us. They
Yeah.
clearly tried to use tactics, which the Smith regime has used previously to try and frustrate us, try and brainwash us. All tactics. And I think at this point they've proven to the world that they are run out of ideas. If you're gonna rig an election, be a bit clever about it. You don't show up to a football match without a football ball. The referee shows up with his whistle and his yellow cards and his red card. So I think the thing here is that it's good that we have EU and SADC that attended the elections. They made their findings, and once
Yeah.
those findings were being presented to the world, we all seen what ZANU-PF did. They went into a panic, but then EU and SADC were addressing ZEC. So the moment that ZANU-PF answers questions that ZEC should be answers, it shows to the world. I mean, they are the joke in all of this. But going forward, I just follow on what Braga did say. I don't think the ballot paper and the pen is going to work because the issue with Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF is that Mnangagwa is their second president in the party since
Yeah.
the past, since Mugabe came. So
Yeah.
everyone is going to take a turn and want to have a piece of Zimbabwe, and it's rich. So the ballot paper and pen it's not going to work. Unfortunately, let's not fool ourselves. Unless we can bring in close our allies, the West, and EU to really come and vigorously monitor our elections, then maybe we can get these guys out. But we
Okay.
might just have,
On
we
that
might just
point,
have to take. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
on that point, I hear what you're saying. That you're saying that the ballot and the paper is not going to work.
Hmm.
My question about that my question is, who exactly are we going to be fighting against? And if we're like, I hear people give that rhetoric of saying we're going to war. My question always is, or we're going to use these other means. What other means are we going to employ the means of protesting, like what we have seen in the likes of Egypt? Are we going to have the groupings like what we've seen in other countries where we have got like maybe what we saw, the uprising that we saw in Libya? What kind of like a plausible plan do you think that could really work when we were saying we want to fight ZANU-PF in another format? Because we've seen that the people who wanted to do that, if you know what then prompted the Gukura Hundi, was the fact that there were people who were ex-Zipra forces. They had guns, they were armed,
Yep.
but they didn't succeed. ZANU-PF came and crushed them. Do you think that that is the option and that is a better option? Are we not going to see create a bloodshed, or we take our country back to maybe 40 or 50 years back? Are you still there?
Yes, yes, sorry. Yes, one starts to wonder, is that the way we want to go? The likes of Libya, the route that they use, it sort of like destroys the infrastructure of the country. It destroys the status of the country. But then I think, for an instance, following what happened today, I think that Bragg had mentioned it. The guy who came and disrupted the Triple C's an announcement of the analysis of the results. I think for the first instance, the fact that we have those happenings on footage is a starting point. But not only that, I think at that point, I thought to myself, Triple C itself needs to continue to have, uh, it's should I say bodyguards around them that they try to do a series and arrest with this guy. Apparently, he's an secret agent inspector or something like that. We find ways to detain these guys. We find ways to identify these guys, expose them to the world for first instance. And in terms of resistance, it's a tricky subject. It's a very, like you are saying, that it's happened previously that when you try to resist Sano PF, who has been trained, outside of Zimbabwe, they say Zimbabwe is one of the best armies, if not in the world. It's quite difficult to try and go up in arms with such an army. But then what we must realize ourselves is that even the army itself, the police force itself, they don't want these guys. They don't want Mnangagwa. I think somehow we have to start, and unfortunately, yes, we have to go into arms. We took our country by the gun, you know. Takatora nyika negidi, and nyika yedu yatorwa nevanhu vakatora nyika yedu. Saka we have to take our country back. If we have to train, as youth, we will have to train. That's the only way forward. Otherwise, Zimbabwe in the next 6 months, in the next 5 months, if you ever been to Zanzibar, will look like Zanzibar. Zanzibar, Iruzeva chairo. It's got beautiful waters. It's quite saddening when I was there. Very beautiful water. But then Zanzibar, Iruzeva, pachayo. And that's what Zimbabwe is going to be like from Harare kusvika kumaruzeva. So we have to remove these guys forcefully. And we have to continue to resist them, because the way what they did today, especially when they tried to disrupt that Triple C spokesman press conference, it was out of order. It's just a press conference. It's not a rally, Or why are you gonna bring 6 people to just take a speech from somebody? And 3 cars, you have about 20 people. For what reason? And the fact that these guys, you could tell that they were scared, and there was no anyone from Triple C per se. There was just the press. It was the press guys one of the guy was holding his camera in his hand, and he had this guy by his collar. That's the type of first instance resistance we have to do. Look at what FAS was doing. Why were they around polling stations? For what reason? You know what I mean? Why are you going to? You say, oh, the Triple C should go into the rural areas, but for the first instance, we should have what Muliswa was doing is we should have been at every polling station in the rural area and stopped fast. It's not about campaigning. That's not the issue here. You know what I mean? Obviously, there are so many votes that we lost for the people who were frustrated and left home. Clearly, this election is won. I mean, we don't have to fool ourselves and try to point fingers. We are in bed with this enemy, and we have to get them out. These guys are running out of ideas. Open your eyes, guys. They're in their last days.
T-Man, thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate. Let me just come to my last caller, Bongi. Can you come through, please?
Hello, brother.
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, man. It's better. I think I agree with what T just said there. Yeah. What I think the CC guys should have done, man, Chamisa should have, maybe you should have checked these guys. Like, as I heard that the FAS guys, they might have infiltrated his these election agents, man. I wonder why he had to use ama volunteers by act as ama agents, all those things. Understand? Didn't he have enough guys from the CCC to act as his agents, Mara?
Yeah. It's always it's a struggle to for, I mean, they will tell you about funding, that there is struggle with funding and all of that. So that's the issue. mutual funding.
What about the membership? People from I think Susi has the membership.
At the
Even
moment,
from
they didn't have structures to put up such membership, so there is no membership to talk about.
Yo, then that's bad. That's bad. Because now,
Hello?
I'm
Yes,
frustrated,
yeah.
man. Yeah, thanks for your time.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bongi. I remember you. We come from a long way back when I still had few subscribers, and I really appreciate you
Thanks.
coming to the
Where
show.
is Kambakwe?
Kambakwe, I think he's sleeping now.
Kambakwe.
He's sleeping now.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bongi, for that contribution. My brother from, I think he's from Australia. How are you doing? On WhatsApp.
Hello.
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 Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. I wanted to talk about the elections.
Yes. Go ahead. We are listening.
You're listening?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay. It's about the contribution online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to also contribute because I feel people are blaming Chamisa and thinking that he's the one alone responsible for all this, because they were talking about structures and all sorts of other things. I think there is a lot to be done by everyone. Like, for example, people have to contribute now that the SADC is not really in favor of this. People should organize themselves in Botswana, South Africa, Mozambique, Malawi, to say, let's demonstrate to the embassy, to the government offices that they must do something, denounce the elections and demand for a rerun or something like that. People have to demonstrate so that the governments in the SADC realize that Zimbabwean people are now serious. They're not only coming here to look for jobs, but they want us to do something so that their country can be free. So that these elections, imagine if South Africa says we declare sanctions against Zimbabwe because they rigged the elections. We can't support this in the SADC. And Mozambique does the same. Mnangagwa and these people cannot import anything through South Africa and Mozambique. And I know that something like that might not happen. But if they could threaten them, they'll put them in order. They will definitely do something. But people have to demonstrate that why are you endorsing these results? Why are you not doing something about it? So that these people will not export lithium and whatever it is through South Africa and Mozambique. So that they really see that people are serious in the SADC. And then they will do something. And then they might say, okay, let's have a rerun because we are not going to recognize your results. So you must have a rerun. And then Chamisa and the other people can be told that you can't take volunteers for polling stations. You don't need volunteers. We need to select people who are really dedicated. Because people who can be bought by, say, €1,000, $1,000 are not worth it. They see $1,000, they sell everything, the V11s or whatever it is, and they go their way. So you need people who are dedicated, who are prepared to die for the party, to win. Yeah. And then when you have people like that, you can really go forward. Because those are some of the most important points to be considered. That people who are going to work, to manage the polling stations, they have to be dedicated people, not volunteers. Volunteers can come from these stupid furs, And then people have to be told that when these people set up their tables, whatever they call them, survey polling stations, or whatever it is, they have to tell the people in advance during those rallies, don't go to that stand. These people are illegal. They're not supposed to put a table there and ask people. When they call you, you don't just tell them, I'm busy, I don't have time. You go your way.
I hear you. Sorry for coming in, for cutting you. I hear you, but one might say that you are talking about people that are going to not volunteer, that are dedicated in this regard. But then my question comes in to say, how do you ascertain, how do you gauge the veracity of somebody's dedication by just, without proper structures of knowing somebody's standing with the local, because Chamisa cannot know all these 12,000 people that came. Neither the leaders
but we have
know.
MPs and senators who were being voted for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
in every ward, those senators or MPs who are going to be voted into power, like Mahere, she has got her own constituents. She is the one who will know the people in her constituents who are dedicated, and then she will appoint those people. So these people are always coming to our rallies. They are always there. They are dedicated. They are prepared to die for this party, and these are the people who can put in those polling stations. Not any other person. They have to be chosen by the people in the ward.
So that comes back to the issue of structures. Then that there is need for those structures to be set up. So to say. So in that regard,
and these things they have to be done. Like, let's say SADC says no, the elections have to be redone, and those things must be done at the very beginning. You know, even if people are going to wait for the next 5 years, those people have to be put in place at the very, very beginning.
Yes.
And for example, these delaying tactics that the balloting box, the balloting papers will come 4 or 5 hours later. People have to be told, you stay at home, and those who are already in the queue will tell you that now you can come. You don't go all at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you stay there, you get fed up, you go home and don't come back again. People could have all come back the next day, which was extended. Everyone.
And also my other question would be, maybe I'm not that privy to know what is really happening. My question is, in the interest of, in the case of the people, the election agents that were manning these places that didn't have materials, isn't it the job of an agent to alert the principals that we're here? Because before the polling opens, the agents would have done that process of counting the ballots that they have, so that they will do the counting after. Why didn't we have these agents speak to their principals? We don't have enough. We don't have material. Material did not come. That information was supposed to have been communicated maybe, hours or even before this thing happened. So can't you also see that there is people that are sleeping on their job there?
Yes. And these elections are not discussed. How they are going to be done is not discussed. It's just rushing to campaign, but there are no meetings at what level to say the elections. What mistakes what did we learn? What lessons do we learn? What are we going to do better next time?
Yeah.
Because ZANU-PF, that's what they specialize in. So you give them no room at all. All these things about fuzz setting up their tables and sitting there, exit polls, whatever it is, people have to be educated in every word that when these people come, ignore them, because they can't do anything. Don't give them your ID. Don't give them anything. Don't give them your number. Don't give them your name. If you want, you can give them a wrong name. If they ask you for your ID, you tell them, I forgot my ID at home.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm called John, Mhlanga, whatever it is, and you go your way. People have to be told to be clever and smarter than these people.
Yeah.
Did you see when they came there, where the CCC were having their briefing?
Yeah.
Those guys just came and went straight on the stage and wanted to abduct that guy.
There was no security.
There was
no security at all.
Yeah, you are supposed to have some bouncers, like those people who really train, who have got muscles. They stand some meters from the stage and make sure that anyone who comes, they ask him, who are you and what do you want? Before he goes to the stage, they have to prepare in advance that we are having our meeting and we don't want any interruptions. So some people who are strong and muscular, they have to stand like 10 meters away from the stage and make sure that anyone who comes, they ask him, who are you and what do you want? And if they suspect him, they follow him. Before he climbs the stage, they hold him his hand. Even if they suspect he's a policeman or a CIO, they will hold him his hand and say, what do you want? Who are you? You know? So that they will not interrupt anything. They will not take any paper. It's a peaceful party, yes, but you can't allow people to come and do whatever they want. And these things have to be written. They have to have a booklet of rules and how to conduct elections and what are we supposed to do from every stage up to the last stage.
Yeah.
If you don't have these things written down, documented, you are bound to make mistakes.
Yes. My brother, thank you so much for your contribution. We are wrapping up the show. We actually had extended. We're supposed to finish at before 1 o'clock. But thank you so much for your contribution. Much appreciated. Hopefully, our people are listening and they're going to listen to this show. I've got two callers that I need to pick up. But my brother, thank you so much. You are calling from Australia, right?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. Appreciate. Much appreciated. Okay. All right. There you have it. I think let me take George's your last thoughts as I give. Let me give also. There's a caller from I think it's Canada. Canada. George's. Your thoughts. Your thoughts, please. I've been kicking you out.
Yes. Yes, Rafika, thank you very much. In all these contributions, I just continue to see out structures, sound strategies. How many Zimbabweans are out in the diaspora? How many urban voters?
Hold that thought. There is somebody here. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. You are live on air. Where are you calling us from?
To Seattle.
Okay. All right.
In USA.
Okay. Go ahead. Make your contribution. As we're about to wrap up the show.
Okay. So, I left the country a long time ago. Back in the days when MTC was starting up.
Yeah.
But this election, I kind of had hope that this would be the election that finally takes care of this tumorous cancer called Zanu-PF that's been on power for so long. The only contribution I'll say is that I thought with this election, all opposition parties should have just united together, get rid of Zanu-PF first, and then we can establish other parties from there on. But man, this hurts.
Yeah, it really hurts.
This hurts a lot.
It really hurts. What do you think? What do you think should be? Obviously, as much as it hurts, we must have a plan. What do you think should be the plan going forward?
Obviously, we know all the tactics. Let's just stop this in division fighting opposition. For years, all opposition parties have had divisions and fighting. The one enemy we have together as the people of Zimbabwe is that cancerous tumor, Zanu-PF, that needs aggressive chemotherapy to burn them and get rid of them. Once they're out the picture, from there on, we can work on being democratic, just like every other country.
So I was also for the same idea that you see. Maybe if you can take a model in the states that you have Democrats, and then you have Republicans. These are amalgamation of parties that decided to say, okay, we want to have a common goal. Let's just become, one party. So I totally concur with you, and I hear what you're saying. That there is need to be. We can't have 10 opposition parties just to try and unseat one party for years, and they are failing to do it. That's it's not. Where are we going as a country? And that is really that is
and that's the thing. Like you read about things like this and poli-sci, courses that we take in university. This what Zimbabwe is doing right now is typical 19th century politics. We are setting ourselves back. We claim to be the most literate country in the world when it comes to politics, but why are we failing to get rid of Zanu? We have a lot of people around the board that can come in and help this country out, but we can't because of that cancer.
It hurts, man. It hurts, and I think many people they are. They have no plan. It is what it is. But anyway, we need to we need to take to task to our leadership. Maybe one last word to the leadership. What do you have to say to them? Like, if you are to talk, like you have spoken about the issue of unity. Right now, the main contender, which is Triple C, what do you think should be their plan in terms of like what lessons can they draw from these past two elections that they got disappointed? What is the plan of action?
To be honest, everybody's been talking about structure this, structure that. Yes, CCC didn't have a structure. Their main goal was to get rid of ZANU-PF.
Yeah.
So heading on to the next election, yes, they should have structures, but at the same time, they need to show people their cards, because you cannot wait 10 days before an election to show your candidates. They're supposed to be out there campaigning, let me know what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were just late. So by the time people realize who's over there, they already made up their mind. And they don't even think they want to vote for him.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so it's something. And then the reform, just reform the ZEC.
Yeah.
At least give people abroad a chance to vote.
Yeah.
Every other country does it.
Yeah.
Every other country in the world does it. They let people abroad vote. Why is it always Zimbabwe and a few other countries that have these dictatorships that want to hold on power for so long that they refuse? They just, oh man, yeah, it hurts. Yeah.
I hear you, brother, and we are also hurt too, and it pains that there was an opportunity to rectify these mistakes, and people didn't. It fell on deaf ears, and now we are reeling the wounds of such. But thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate.
I appreciate you having me on the show, man.
All right, sure, man.
Thank you.
All right, sure.
All right.
Yeah, that is a caller from USA in Seattle, to be exact. Georges, any last words as we wrap up the show? I mean, we've gone over.
Yeah, I still go back to the structures and sound strategy. Let me just give you a small pointer to why I'm saying that. Let's take the issue of the late ballots.
Yeah.
If you had structured, on ground, it's easy to coordinate that effort. You're talking of urban voters. You're talking of people who are, they are on WhatsApp, they are on what. It's easy to coordinate an effort. But in this case, you could not coordinate an effort. Not to say which party do I belong to, but I've never even seen a Triple C WhatsApp group. I mean, to be honest, I'm in ZANU-PF WhatsApp groups. They've got lots of those. ED for this, ED for that. Structures are very crucial. These are the things that can make changes. The parts that they were complaining about, those could have been dealt with structures. The issues of polling agents we're talking about, when you have structures on ground, it's easy to get volunteers from your own structures to make sure that you have the right polling agents.
Yeah.
No matter what we say, we can talk of the gun. We know that's not the way Zimbabweans would go. That's not the way you and me want to go. But I still believe that in Zimbabwe, a vote can win an election. If a vote could not win an election, ZANU-PF could not invest so much money and time in winning elections. ZANU starts to win to prepare for elections 2 or 3 years before an election. Because they go right to grassroots levels where you talk of intimidation or whatever you want to talk about it, but they invest so much time because they want to hold on to power. CC must understand that, or the opposition must understand that, and start working from your grassroots. How many urban youths do not vote? So many millions. I could even say, I don't know how many, but so many urban youths do not vote. How many people in the diaspora coordinate the effort, come up with pressure, create pressure to get maybe a diaspora vote? If you can't, find ways to channel and encourage people to come back home and vote if it means people should come back and vote. Right now, we have callers from Australia. I'm in Tunisia. How many millions of us are out there in the diaspora? I hear it's 3 or so million. That's a vote. And we are all not voting. But we expect to see the government change. Where is the coordinated effort? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my brother, for that contribution, which should be our last. I really appreciate your input. You sort of became our guest tonight as we're dissecting this. But I really appreciate you coming to the show and giving us those thoughts. And hopefully somebody's listening and they will take note.
Thank you very much, Osge.
All right, okay. That was Georges, one of our panelists, and thank you for everyone that has been part of the show. I see some people who couldn't get through to the show. We are going to be having this conversation because they are important in shaping up to 2023, 2028. We are already 2023 is gone. Whether there is going to be some reprieve from SADC, we'll live to see that. Whether there is going to be a court case, we're going to see that. Maybe we're going to see a statement coming from Triple C very soon. So this is the scenario. We have another 5 years with ZANU-PF and the head of state being President Emerson Mnangagwa. Whether there is going to be an agreement between Nelson Chamisa, Triple C, and ZANU-PF, that is another story that we are going to see in the next coming days. Obviously, after this announcement, we are going to see ZANU-PF making a press statement. The president has promised that he's going to make a press statement today. So hopefully we're going to hear what is the plan of action. Maybe we're going to be surprised. We're going to hear that there is going to be a consensus between the two parties, ZANU-PF and Triple C. But also, let me point out this before I close. I believe that it is incumbent upon our leaders to not only have this enmity amongst themselves, but we see it in South Africa. You have Julius Malema, you have Cyril Ramaphosa. In all the fighting, Julius Malema, how he fights the ruling party in parliament, how he fights the ruling party in many places, in many forums. When he does his press conferences, he'll be blasting this. But you'll be surprised to see this Julius Malema at Oskido's studio. They are together with Fikile Mbalula, the Secretary General for ANC. That shows you that in spite of all this, we need to see our leaders creating that room, that environment that will not polarize us. Because I would imagine the reason why we find people killing each other, the people stoning each other, is because our leaders, they show that in their disposition of the duties that they do, that they will be talking, this person is like this, people will be saying, puppets and all of that. But if our leaders are going to, in spite of what has happened now, I would expect Nelson Chamisa to have a conversation, like even to congratulate Idi Mnangagwa, go to him, talk to him. Yes, Makati Birira or whichever rhetoric that they can make, but at least they can be seen together in public, talking together. That would not polarize our situation further, as much as you do hate ZANU-PF. But what that scenario creates, it creates this enmity between people. Yet people don't belong to a political party. People are humans. They are just humans who happen to vote for a political party because they want to coexist and they want to make choices of what they want in life. But we need to make sure that people are not attached to a political party to such an extent that it becomes a bone of contention, that people cannot agree, people end up killing each other, people end up having these fights, that this is from there, this is from there. Because seriously, how many people have died in these past 23 years because of belonging to a certain political party? And for what? We need to change that that narrative that we peddle amongst ourselves. That is my desire, and that is my goal even for this channel, that we have we show impartiality. I would love to. I was hoping, there's my brother that is from the Australia. I was hoping to have him on the show because he's a ZANU-PF person, and he give us his input. I talked to him. This is what we want to have, the unit of purpose as citizens, in spite of where we cast our vote to. That being said, I would like to say thank you to everyone that has participated in this. This is to those that are just joining us. The result that we have just been witnessed, that was announced by the ZEC chairperson, Priscilla Makanya Rachgumba, is that President Idi Mnangagwa has won by 52%, and Nelson Chamisa, the Triple C, has garnered 44%. That being said, President Idi Mnangagwa has been declared the winner of this election. So this is what it is, and this is 5 years from now, and we're going to wait until 5 years to see another opportunity for Triple C to get into power. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, please share this video, and if you want to donate, if you want to give to this cause of this channel, get in touch with us on the numbers that you were calling, which is WhatsApp. You can also donate on PayPal. You can see me sometimes. I'm here, I'm not there. I'll be doing other engagements because I'll be trying to doing the work that I do of giving you information and sourcing out this information. It's very tiresome and it takes a lot of time, and time is money. So that I would need your support for me to be able to do that. Anyway, that is what I want to encourage you. If you want to donate to this channel, the number is there on the screen. Get in touch with me. There's a lot of things that we need to have. I would want to do this full time so that I can be able to get as much as information as I can that is beneficial to the children of Zimbabwe, and that is also good for the right to information to everyone that needs to have that information. That being said, I would like to say thank you, and I appreciate. Some of you are disappointed. I'm also disappointed, and a lot of Zimbabweans are disappointed. But this is what it is. We have to continue and soldier on and fight another day. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next video. Good night and good morning and good day.